Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and to the Christmas 83 Silverado build. There's a lot of channels from Latin America participating. They're going to be using the title Colectivo Navidad Silverado. Así que we're going to be using an 83 Silverado. The rules are simple. Just do to it whatever you want. So join me on a little story before we start here. 1975 Indy 500, they had what they called Indy haulers pickup trucks. They had 27 trucks. Only 3 of them had this paint scheme here with the stripes. So you can see they were used to move anything, even that big drum from the band. Interesting, only 3 made and only 1 survives. You can see they did like I don't know if that's a Suburban. They did a van. I don't know if the GMC version is called Suburban. And you could also see that they had tow trucks. So that's a picture of the original one, how it looks right now. The only one that's left surviving. So Squarebody Syndicate, they did a tribute truck. They used to own the original. They sold it and then they bought a 1976 short bed. The original one was long bed. They had a short bed, and basically they just wanted to use the stripes and make their own version. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm making a tribute of the tribute. So they use the original was 75, they use a 76, and today I'm changing this 83 Silverado to a 83 Sierra, GMC Sierra. You can see we did the common thing here. We stripped the paint, and now I'm cutting the hood or the bonnet using my saw there. I think I did a pretty good job cutting. Now using the Dremel, we're going to cut all of these metal pieces sticking out. I use a cutting disc. It'll take a while. And then to clean it up, make everything about the same level, I use this other metal disc from Dremel. I'll have links to everything I use down below. Now the Silverado has what I believe it's a hydraulic tank for the suspension in the back. We're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut that thing. There it is. We use my file here to clean it up a little bit. And check this out. Look. The bed. So these parts that I'm going to use here were printed, 3D printed by Jerly over at Instagram. I'm going to leave his link down below in case you want to purchase anything that you see here. I used the Sharpie to mark the lines, the bed lines, and then I use this very thin square tubing polystyrene, cut it to pieces and glued it down. Now I'm going to create the hinge to open and close the hood. So using this worn down disc, I'm going to create a groove here. So on both sides, try to do both sides so they end up in the same spot. or aligned. This is a piece of a Hot Wheels axle. So I'm using my third hand there, hold everything in place, and then I'm using some UV glue here. And I'm gluing it down. UV glue is the same glue I used on my previous Chevy Tahoe project to glue down the windshield, as you don't get any fumes. So once that's installed there on both sides, you just cut it with some wire cutters. I think it's time I buy some new wire cutters. These Hot Wheels axles, they're stainless steel, they're very strong, so they tend to damage the wire cutters. So now they're still too long, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark with a Sharpie there where I need to drill a hole on the inside, so that little piece of axle just sits in there. And this is the drill bit here. It's a number 67, which is the same size as a Hot Wheels axle. I will also leave a link down below of the one I'm using, which is very sharp, and I'll leave a link to like a cheaper version, still 67, but they're not gonna cut at the same speed. You got to be very careful with these because they do it very fast, and I don't want to go all the way through. So once you drill both of those little holes, you just snap everything into place. I use a little bit of more glue once it was installed to make the opening and closing a little bit stiffer, but because it's glue, it'll wear out. Once you do paint, the paint will help with that. But like everything, you open it and close it so many times, it's gonna go back to being very loose. It doesn't wobble, it won't stay open. But here's the start of the show. Look, I've been doing a few videos in the past where I've been showing you the GMC grill, and it was all to get to this point. Now we have a complete chassis with seats and engine. Here's the windshield. Now, because I'm doing the opening and closing of the hood, I had to cut a groove on the back there, so the hood has space to open and close. Here is the wheels. I bought them on eBay. I'll also leave a link down below. So I'm going to show you what I had to do. I had to reinforce the chassis there to play with the stands. Get it just the way I wanted it. You can see I reinforced at the bottom and on top with some polystyrene. That's black polystyrene that I have. And check this out. The valve covers say Syndicate, just like the original one. And it does have 3 pedals on the floor. You can see I'm using a different windshield here. Very important, you have to cut it flush with the metal, because the dash, the brand new dash, is gonna sit right there. So that's the only way you could get it to fit. The smoke windshield, I'm gonna use it in another project, and I'll show you later. I wanted to use the clear windows here. So I'm using just some Gorilla gel glue to glue down that the truck bed floor. There it is. Now we're ready for paint. Very simple job, but the paint is just white. And there it is. Now from Second Chance Redlines, you already know, if you visit SC Redlines, you use discount code DSC164 for a 10% discount. Here is the chassis, engine bay, seats, all painted up. It's a water slide. Been using their water slide for years now. Never had any problems. Top-notch quality when it comes to the water slides. I suggest you don't leave it in water for a very long time, or the glue is going to activate and then it's going to be very difficult to apply the water slide. So the paint is duplicolor white primer with a duplicolor acrylic enamel clear coat. It doesn't yellow like the Ming Wax. When I use anything that has white, I don't use the Ming Wax because it will turn yellow. I won't do it immediately, but over time it will turn yellow. Now that acrylic enamel doesn't shine as the Ming Wax, so I don't recommend it as a final clear coat. Now once I apply this and everything is make sure it's dry, I wait about 24 hours. Then I come back and I hit it with some urethane clear coat from the Redline shop, or you could buy the real stuff from a automotive paint shop. I usually use the Ming Wax all the time. I only use urethane when I do white cars. So I usually buy the small clear coat from the Redline shop. SC Redlines now has paint and clear coat. I have yet to test their paint, so maybe next year. Oh, here is the other tool recommended by Jerly, who's the guy that printed 3D printed the base and the truck bed floor. It has a metal tip on one side, a silicone tip on the other, and they work perfect for painting details. It's just awesome. It's red acrylic paint, which will dry matte, but that's not a problem because we're going to clear coat everything. These things work amazing, and then it's just clean it up with water. So here's the other one. I did this a long time ago. That's a different engine, as you can see. You got the headers sticking up, so you won't be able to use the hood on this one. And he also created a cut around truck bed floor for if you want to leave the the hydraulic tank. That one looks very nice too. I still have to work on the stance on that one. So a quick reminder what we started with: an orange Silverado, and we ended up with the red, white, and blue stripe GMC Sierra, tribute to a tribute truck. Check out that stance. And I also have the M2. M2 created a replica of the 1976 Squarebody Syndicate. They did this version, which is like dirty up, and they also have a cleaned up version. So let's take a look at both of them here. You can see that the M2 also has the engine with the gold valve covers, but guess what? Their valve covers don't say Syndicate. I think this one came out very, very nice. I really like those wheels. The water slides worked perfectly. And see what I mean? That at this point I've opened and closed the hood so many times that it won't stay up. But using the same polystyrene square tubing that I use for the bed, I cut a piece and you see it in the picture. I use it to hold it up only for taking pictures. So here it is, the 76 and 83 Sierra. Look at them fat rubber on the back over there. They both roll. Since the M2 rolls, it's kind of chunky when it rolls. I wanted to make mine. I want to make sure that it rolls. And there it is, guys. The Christmas Silverado. There it is with the little stick. The Christmas Silverado Christmas. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check everybody else's video. I'll try to create a playlist as the day goes along, and I'll add it here at the end. Thank you for watching. Peace out.